Welcome back to Goo Roo Beauty. I am Jodi and it is time for a Q&A video. Today's video is all about those questions that you asked me on Instagram and Facebook recently, all to do with non-beauty related questions, and there will be beauty related questions in another video. Okay, so first question, how's it going? I would say, I'm going really well. When you guys ask me that, I do reflect on my recent video that I made back in April with a personal update letting you know that I separated from Tony, who I was married to for 13 years. So we've been separated now since middle October 2015, so it's been a good 9 months, and as I said to you in a recent video, I have been dating. I'm really happy. I feel more like myself than I have in a really long time, and I can't tell you how great that feels. I was really sad and really shocked when all of that went down last year, and there were many times I'd be driving in my car and I'd just burst out in tears and I'd just be a mess. For a few months there, I really didn't want to socialize. I really didn't want to see friends or family. My videos slowed right down, and I didn't really want to put on makeup and get in front of the camera and talk about makeup. I was really worried and sad and heartbroken for my kids, really sad and heartbroken and rejected feeling myself, and just in a general state of shock. So about 6 months out from that, I started feeling more normal again. I hit a low, but then I hit a turning point, and I'm stronger than I've ever been. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm so proud of the kids and how they're doing. Tony and I remain amicable and committed to just making it harmonious and work for the kids. So they've never seen a fight. They've never seen bitterness. We'd never dream of speaking ill of each other, and we just make it work. So the kids spend a couple nights a week at Tony's every week, and they're doing great in school. I think they're just really healthy, and I'm just proud of how all four of us have dealt with the situation and moved forward. So how's it going? I'm doing really well, just busy, just incredibly busy, adding dating into the mix, and it starts meaning less video time, less editing time, that kind of thing. But I'm loving life. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you're doing really well too. Okay, favorite memory of your life so far and best thing about being a mum. Wow, okay, awesome questions. Favorite memory of my life so far. I think when you have kids and when you get married and you have those kinds of life-changing events, there's really nothing that can surpass, bringing a new life into the world. But I am going to take those out. I feel like as a parent and as a mother, it's really easy just to go straight to the kids. So I'm going to take the kids and the family part out of it and reflect on probably the two most awesome moments of my life. Number one would be being at the Grand Canyon for the first time as an adult, where I could really just appreciate the sheer awesomeness of that huge gaping hole in the ground. Nothing like the Grand Canyon or a natural sort of wonder to make you feel both very tiny, but also part of something just so large and magical and universal, something that connects all of us. And that's what the Grand Canyon did for me. Other favorite memory would be here in Western Australia. I think I've shared this moment with you before, but I was in Broome, which is in the very northwest, very hot, and I was there for work, and I'd had a full day of work in Perth. I was in heels and a suit. Broome is not a heels and suit kind of town. I just didn't have time to get out of the heels and suit, so I got off the plane and I was driving to the resort, which was on the beach, and I just noticed that the sky was ablaze, like the entire sky was on fire over the beach. And by the time I got just near the resort, I just almost screeched into a car spot on the beach, and I ran up in my heels and my suit to the top of the hill where I could just see the entire expanse of the beach and the sun, everything. I live in Western Australia, so sunsets over the water every single day. It's a beautiful thing, but it's not, special, if you know what I mean. Every time is special, but it's not particularly unusual for me to see a sunset over the beach. But this was something else in Broome. I've never seen such vivid reds, oranges, just the sky was on fire, the entire sky. And I was just brought to tears. I just was awestruck with the beauty of that. And so the Grand Canyon and my very first Broome sunset at Cable Beach. Best thing about being a mum, oh my gosh, I would just say the opportunity to help guide attitudes. One of my favorite quotes in this world is by Gandhi, and it's "Be the change that you want to see in this world." And that's what kids kind of give you the opportunity to do in an even more broad way, I guess, than just yourself and your own actions, to be able to influence values, behaviors, beliefs, attitudes of other people. And I've got two beautiful young girls, Jade 10 years old and Lily 8 years old, is just such a privilege, and it's something that I never take for granted, and I'm always very conscious of what I pass on to them, and they take it all in. They're like sponges, and that would be my favorite thing about being a mum. Just, yeah, what a fantastic opportunity that is, to guide two little human beings to hopefully contribute in a positive way. What would you tell your youngest self if you could say anything? I would say trust your gut. Trust your gut, and don't concentrate on pleasing everyone else so much. I'm turning 40 this year, and one of the things that I love about being this age is that I've never been more confident. I still care about doing things that please people. I care about doing things well, and I do care sometimes about what people think of me, but what I think of me and my confidence, and accepting the fact that I'm not going to please everyone. There's going to be people who I don't get along with, who don't believe in what I'm doing, who don't believe me, who think that I'm, something other than I am. I can accept that. That's okay. And that's what I would tell myself if I was younger. And I would say, listen to your gut. Stop. Reflect, listen to your heart, listen to your gut. Use less of this and use more of this. Next question, best moment of your YouTube career. Love you. Oh, Ashley Monahan, love you too. That's really, really sweet. My gosh, best moment of your YouTube career. I would say I've had lots of wonderful moments of my YouTube career. I loved going to my very, very first IMATs and meeting so many lovely people and also other YouTubers. That was really fantastic. I also remember waking up one morning and Wayne Goss was showing something on his computer about YouTube and how to subscribe or how to look for new videos in your inbox, something. And it was on his screen that he'd subscribed to me. I don't know if he's still subscribed to me. I'd be too worried to find out. I have a feeling that my style is probably not Wayne's style. I love Wayne, but I tend to go on and on a bit, and he seems to be very, to the point. But I remember waking up and people were just sending me all excited messages about how much they were excited for me that Wayne Goss had showed, on his video that he was subscribed to me. So that was pretty exciting. I've met some really lovely people through this process. That's awesome. But I would say overwhelmingly, probably my very, very favorite experience as part of being a YouTuber was the response that you guys gave to me when I posted my personal update this year in April. Obviously, it had nothing to do with makeup, nothing to do with beauty. I just wanted to share with you that Tony wasn't around anymore, and I was in tears many times reading messages from you guys. The outpouring of comments, support, encouragement, and the way that you guys banded around me and took the time to send me messages, on every media, Instagram, YouTube, email, every way that you could contact me, Facebook, was just so astounding. I was absolutely floored, and I was floored for weeks. I'll never stop being so incredibly touched by that. I felt the sisterhood of women in a way, probably in a more extreme way than I ever have in my entire life. The way that you, mostly women, banded around me after that video, and the words of support and encouragement was just so touching. It's made me never more proud to be a woman, and never more proud to feel a part of a sisterhood with you guys. It just took our relationship to a whole new level, and I can't thank you enough. Okay, next question. What did you study at uni college? Okay, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was really good academically, but I had a really interesting pathway to university. I actually went to college for the first time as a 15-year-old. I finished high school in the United States just before my last class was just before my 15th birthday, when everyone next to me was turning 19, and I was so young I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I started college doing a lot of just electives, that kind of thing, everything from pottery to advanced calculus, but then by the time I came back to Australia and started university here in Australia, I still didn't know what I wanted to do, and I thought a business degree would be the very best thing that I could sort of apply towards anything that once I decided I was interested in it would come in handy. So I did a Bachelor of Commerce here in WA at Curtin University, and I did a double major. I majored in marketing and I majored in public relations. So a marketing public relations Bachelor of Commerce, and I'd love to do my MBA. It's something that I have, asked for at work before, and my boss decided that, with a 2-year-old and a baby on the way, it wasn't the best time for the company to sponsor an MBA. Maybe he was right, but yeah, I'd love to find that time and inspiration to do an MBA. A graduate degree would be something I'd be really proud of. What's your guilty pleasure? Oh my gosh, I would have to say my guilty pleasure, besides keeping up with the Kardashians when I'm on a Qantas flight, and that's only when I'm coming back from Sydney to Perth. I've worked hard all week or all day. It's been a very long day. I don't pick up my laptop while I'm on that flight from Sydney back to Perth. I'll watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But I think something I've probably never told you guys is how much I love my bed. And now with kids, I've never really had the chance to ever just stay in bed all day. I used to when I was younger, but I love my bed. How many years did you live in the US, and would you ever move back? What is it like to have Christmas in summer? Okay, how many years did I live in the US? My parents are Australian, but I was born in the US. I was born in Tucson, Arizona. My parents split up when I was about 3 or 4, and I moved back to Australia with my mum. Couple holidays back and forth to America to visit my dad and various things, but went back to live when I was about 14 for a couple of years. So I finished high school, started college over there, and then came back to Australia after a couple of years of living in Wyoming, which is cowboy country. And then most recently I was there for 8 years. That was where I went over with Tony. We got married in Las Vegas, and we lived in Washington, DC, or the greater Washington, DC area. My kids were born there, both of my girls, and then we moved out to San Jose, or the San Francisco Bay Area in Northern California. We were there for a couple of years. So all in all, 8 years most recently, and I feel like I've been sort of back and forth all my life. So wonderful. I do love America. I am an American citizen too, and registered to vote. I take that all quite seriously. What is it like to have Christmas in the summer? Really, really different to having Christmas in the winter, I'll tell you that much. So Christmas in the summer is funny. We don't have, at least my family has never done sort of the hot turkey and all the hot veggies. We will do a fish, and we might do a roast meat, but it's a lot of cold meats. It's a lot of like cold prawns and salads and that kind of thing. We'll often start the day heading down to the beach. We might wake up early, open up presents, head down to the beach for a nice refreshing swim in the ocean before we spend the day. Our Christmases are usually outside, so family gatherings growing up has usually been at someone's house and in their backyard. People with a pool are very, very popular on Christmas Day. When I lived in America, common Christmas presents were things like warm fleecy pajamas, hats, scarves, that kind of thing. In Australia, it's, bathers and boogie boards and beach towels. Those kinds of things are very, very common. Stubby holders, presents in Australia for Christmas. So very, very different to have Christmas in the summer. How do you organize yourself and juggle being a mum, full-time work, and blogging YouTube? How do you do it? So inspiring. I have been asked this question before, and my common answer is I don't do it all. People ask me, how do you do it all? I don't do it all. No one does it all. So the time that I spend filming, the time that I spend editing is time that other people might spend vacuuming their house or watching TV. I don't watch TV. I don't have time to do some things that other people have to do because they don't film and edit and make videos. So no matter who you are, no matter what you do, no one's doing it all. Something's got to give. You've got to make choices, but then I prioritize. So time with the kids, when the kids are at home, that is, my priority is spending time with the kids, making sure they're showered, they're fed, they're doing their homework. Once the kids go to bed, then it's my time to go to my second job, my YouTube job, and luckily it's one that I love. So that's what keeps me going. What are your best tips for time management? Everything goes into my iCalendar on my phone. It syncs with my work computer, my personal iPhone, my work iPhone. There's one of me, and I love iCalendar. Everything goes in there. I set alarms for myself. I also share the calendar, so appointments that might have to do with the kids, I will, invite people to those calendar events so Tony knows, and we have shared appointments across our calendars. I do that for work as well. You think about what's most important to you, and you do those things first. You look after the big things first, and then you fill in all the gaps with the little stuff. And so having your priorities straight and knowing what you want, and keeping a focus on that and reminding yourself of that, I think is the very first thing that you need to do towards good time management. How are you, and how did you organize yourself out of this bad experience? What's your diet or nutrition plan? How do you organize 2 jobs and 2 kids and yourself? And how do you stay optimistic, funny and inspiring? Thanks for the video in advance. That is so sweet. How did I get myself out of this bad experience? I think you're talking about my separation with Tony, which came as a big shock again after 13 years. I thought we were going to spend the rest of our lives together, and I chose to have babies with him under the idea that we would spend the rest of our lives together. You know what? I think it's really important to see the silver lining. I think that, I think for me, I didn't necessarily feel betrayed. I feel that, Tony was making a decision that was really essential for him and his happiness and his ongoing happiness. And from one human being to another, you have to have respect for that. And, I love him. I'll always love him. And when you love someone, you want them to be happy, and you want them to take responsibility for their happiness too. And I was not, obviously, staying married to me was not a part of what he could do for his happiness. So, I think you've got to see the positive in that. So I saw that as an opportunity to, see someone who I loved have a better life for themselves, and possibly have a better life myself as well. The opportunity to be able to spend my life just, with myself, or spend more time with myself, or date people, or be with people who wanted to be with me. I think I saw that as a gift despite the heartbreak. I do have an ongoing belief and faith, a very strong belief in being thankful for everything that we have. I have so much to be thankful for. It's not just something I say. I have so much to be thankful for. I am so fortunate, and I think that really helps see you through hard times as well. What's my diet or nutrition plan? I don't have much of a diet or nutrition plan. I do believe in, as few processed foods as possible. I'm not anywhere near someone who eats the least amount of processed foods as possible, but as much as you can eat that comes out of the ground is really, really good for you. I have noticed huge benefits to my skin in terms of not having any sugar. No, I haven't cut out sugar, but reducing the amount of sugar that I'm eating, that makes a big difference. And I've had really great experiences with the Weight Watchers program before in the past. After I had my kids, I lost 30 pounds just from, it's portion control, just counting my Weight Watchers points and portion control. It's amazing what changes when you're so much more conscious of your portions and what your body actually needs rather than what your head tells you it wants. So that's some advice there. I've talked about how I organize 2 jobs and my kids. I don't think I'm perfect, but I'm really pleased with the way I do it. And how do you stay optimistic, funny and inspiring? I think a lot of that has to do with my mum. I think it's a gift. I do think it's a gift. I don't know if it's serotonin levels, but I've always been known for having a lot of energy and just being really happy and positive. I'll always see opportunity in challenges. I'll always see the positive side of things. And I think it was just something I was born with. Hi, Jodi. What career advice would you give to a young, ambitious woman looking to progress her career? Okay, my career advice for anyone always starts with knowing what you want. If you know what you want, 1 or even better, 2 steps ahead, that makes everything you do, everything that other people look to you to do, so much easier. Knowing what you want is the secret to getting what you want, I think. Once you know what you want, you can ensure that every decision you make points towards progress in the direction of getting what you want. Knowing what you want means you can communicate to others who might be making decisions about you getting what you want. they know to maybe look to you for opportunities that might come up to help you get what you want. Certainly as a boss, as a sales manager, it's so much easier to help guide and provide opportunities for those representatives who are on my team who know what they want. And the clearer you can be about that to yourself and also in how you communicate that to others, so important. You're halfway there. You're halfway there if you know what you want. And then the second thing, whether you're talking about career or personal life, in a career, it is important to, toe the line and to please people and, have good performance reviews and, understand what expectations people have of you or your boss has of you. But ultimately, you need to be driven yourself. You need to be motivated yourself to do well. And it needs to not be about pleasing other people. It needs to not be about someone telling you what you need to do to succeed at your job and doing that. It's about having that initiative yourself and you leading it. It's about leading it. It's about initiative, and that just makes a huge difference to success as far as I'm concerned, and getting what you want. Okay, I'll leave it there. I get very passionate about it. I love what I do, that aspect of my job, and I love it. I'll have to make a whole separate video about that actually. Okay, P.S. Love your honest videos. Thank you. Hope one day I can juggle a busy career and family too. Much love. If you do, just remember, be kind to yourself, and you absolutely can. Just do it your way and just do the best you can do, and you will be a success. Hi Jodi, if you could live anywhere else but Australia, where would it be? I only ask because my daughter asked me last night if I wanted to run away and could go anywhere in the world, where would I go? I said Australia. I would have to say, well, there are so many places I would love to go that I've never been. I've never been to Europe before. I'm doing London, Paris, Rome coming up in September, and I cannot wait. But my other home is America. My sister, who is like my other half, who is like half of my heart, living on the other side of the world right now, lives in America on the other side of the world. And I miss her. I loved living in America. There's lots of advantages and lots of really wonderful things about living there. I know that I could deal with that, and that could be sustainable. So if I had to live anywhere outside Australia, from what I know now, I would love to live in America and somewhere near my sister, but I would miss the beach. I would really miss the beach. I did really miss the beach. So yeah, there's lots more places to discover. So that could change at any moment. Hi Jodi, love your channel. Thank you. What's it like working in the pharmaceutical industry? It's interesting working in the pharmaceutical industry. First, I will say, you know that you're doing good. You know that you're making a difference. You know that you might be helping to save lives, helping doctors make good decisions to save lives. You know that you might be helping to educate doctors to make better decisions for their patients, maybe not to save lives. It could be to live longer lives. It could be to have a better quality of life. I've sold everything from antihistamines to antibiotics to Viagra, yes, Viagra, Lipitor. My team now sells products to do with diabetes and cardiovascular health and hypertension. I've sold products that help infectious diseases, so people who've had transplants or who are really, really ill, and they get fungal disease or they get an infection in the hospital, products that really save lives. And I would have to say how rewarding that is just, that's a really rewarding aspect of the job. I love my job now because of that aspect, but also managing people and helping to coach and lead and manage people, help people develop different skills. I absolutely love that. I love all the different hats that I wear in my job as a sales manager in the pharmaceutical industry. If you work in the pharmaceutical industry, you'd better get used to change, because if one thing's for sure, it's going to constantly change, whether it's who you work for, who's on your team, what products you sell, round after round after round of restructures and layoffs. There's just different things that impact the bottom line in a pharmaceutical company. And what's profitable to sell, and how much of a life left of a patent of a drug. So things are constantly changing, and I love that. I really love that. But that can be really, really challenging for others. But I really enjoy working in the pharmaceutical industry. I've been working in health sales in health-related fields for 15 years. 15 years now, and I love it. It's very rewarding. Have you lived all of your life in Australia? If so, would you live overseas with your kids if opportunity arises? I've answered that question, I guess. I haven't lived all my life in Australia. It's sort of been between here. I've also lived in Sydney in Australia. I've also lived in country town in Wheat Belt, Western Australia. And then I've spent a lot of time in America as well, back and forth, back and forth. I was born in Arizona. I've lived in Wyoming. I've lived in Washington, D.C. or Northern Virginia, and I've lived in Northern California, and all have pros and cons. I love the fact that I've experienced living in lots of different cities and different parts of the world. My kids were born in Northern Virginia, right near the White House and Arlington Cemetery and the Pentagon in Northern Virginia, and I'm really thankful that they're going to have choices as well as they grow up about where they live and choices about what country they live in. I know there's probably a lot of people around the world who would love the freedom and the opportunity to have more choice in where they live and be able to come and go freely. So it's not something I take for granted, and I would absolutely consider living elsewhere if the opportunity arises. Absolutely. I think it's very enriching for your life, and I would love for my kids to have that same experience whilst wanting to give them stability. I think adventure and new places is really important. Hi Jodi, what are your views on cultural diversity? This is not an ordinary question, but I am a woman of colour living in Sydney, and I would love to hear your opinion. Cultural diversity. I think cultural diversity is something that has an awful lot of value and an awful lot of merit. I think that diversity in general, whether it's gender, culture, whatever it is, I think it's really important. There's nothing better than, diversity of thought and belief and people coming together to from different places and from different perspectives to be able to weigh things up and share ideas and thoughts. So I think it is very, very important. I grew up in Australia, and after 8 years in the United States, coming back to Australia, I was really surprised at the level of racism that people in my circle at the time here in Perth, the level of racism that people were quite comfortable sharing publicly and loudly. I was really surprised and I was really offended. And I'm not saying Aussies are racist. I'm not saying necessarily that they're more racist here than other places, but I think cultural diversity is really important. It's really important to me, and we're all different and we should all listen to each other and appreciate others' perspectives. So I think it's important, and I think we should prioritise it. Questions from my Facebook page. Number 1, who looks after the girls when you're away for work or beauty events, especially now that you're separated? Is it hard to juggle YouTube events and 2 little ones? So YouTube, I really don't go to many events because I live in Perth. There aren't many events that are available to me, and I kind of like it that way. I like that I feel more independent than I would feel if I was going to a lot of events and doing this full time in Sydney. Tony looks after the girls when I'm away usually, so I don't have a lot of other people who look after the kids besides their dad, but we have a relationship where he makes it work. If I have to go away for a week at a time, often he'll come and stay with them at my house, so the girls have their own routine and their usual beds and place to do their homework and place to play the cello and that kind of thing. So we make it work. That's really important to me, Lily, and thankfully Tony and I are in a position where we can do that while a lot of separated couples can't. Is it hard to juggle YouTube and events and 2 little ones and work? Yeah. There's often guilt. There's often hard choices that you have to make, and you just do the best that you can do, and you forgive yourself and love yourself and tell yourself you're doing an awesome job, and you continue to make choices. Kim Coleman, have you ever considered making YouTube a full-time endeavour? It's something I think about and toss around sometimes. I love it. I do love my day job very, very much though, and I do get a lot out of it, including a whole lot more money than YouTube. So I find my day job very, very rewarding, and it pays the bills. YouTube at the moment is something that I just do because I love it. I spend a lot of my spare time doing it, and I do get money for it, and that pays for the makeup that I buy to sustain the channel. Have I considered making it a full-time endeavour? Yes, I've considered it. I've thought about how that could work, and is that something that I want to do? And I don't think it's a reality for me to do that. I don't think it's a reality for me to do that from Perth, and I like the balance that I have right now. So I'm never saying never. if someone said, you know, hey, Jodi, you could make just as much money doing this full time, you know, I'd consider it. I would consider it. Final question. I would love to know your tips on how you manage a full-time job, YouTube, and raising 2 kids. You're so successful in everything you do that I would love to be able to do the same. Thank you, Nicole. You're not the first person to ask that question. I think you've definitely gotten the gist for how I would answer that question. Just remember, no one's perfect. You've got to do it your way. You know, accept and appreciate and ask for help where you need to. Realize that you need to make choices. You can't do everything. No one is superwoman, or really, I like to think of it as in we're all superwomen. We all are amazing for doing what we do and getting through the day and doing the best that we can do. So be forgiving, be kind to yourself, and just get through the day and redefine your own success. If you're getting through the day and able to, you know, keep your kids alive and yourself alive and healthy, you're doing pretty darn well. And most of all, be thankful every day. Find something to be thankful for. I think that an attitude of gratitude is the most important thing to pretty much just about anything that we do. And don't forget to be thankful and have gratitude for all it is that you're so fortunate to have. Okay. That's it. Enough of the lecture. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that this gave you a better idea of who I am, and I would just say I really appreciate your time putting the questions in. Hopefully, if you asked a question, you found your question on this video and that I answered it adequately. I hope so, and looking forward to the next Q&A video with you as well. So without any further ado, wishing you an absolutely gorgeous day. I hope you can make it a gorgeous day. Please don't forget, you are absolutely beautiful. Don't you forget it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But you know what's so much more important than looking beautiful is being it. I will see you again really, really soon. Bye.
You're seeing me in the road.